Well, this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and as I think about this, and I have a chavrusa now that's interested in this material, I see how deep that it actually runs, and what Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg, not a rabbi, wants to teach us some very deep things, but actually wants to teach us how to interpret your birth chart. The first thing is to understand what a birth chart is, and the birth chart really represents the constellation which is over your head at the time of your birth. There is a constellation up above your head, and it's one of these 12. Every 2 hours, there's a new one because it's a 24-hour day. So wherever you're born, whether you're born in the middle of the night, if you're born early in the morning or the daytime, anytime, or early night, it's going to be different constellation over your head depending on the day, the time of year, many other things. This is the start of your life. And the relationship that that has between the planets that are in the constellation and the other planets and other constellations is really going to tell a lot about the forces that are really impending on us, on you, and on me. Now, I'm very brilliant, and so therefore I realize that if I'm turning this wheel around, which is the zodiac, that when you get to the backside, you have to read it upside down. So I went and I did something really smart, and I made so that you could also see it, hopefully, upside down and backwards like that. So let's get to what we've been talking about. Last year, he talked about the relationship between the eighth house, which is the house of sex, called Scorpio, and the fifth house, which is Leo, and how it is that the fifth house actually represents children. It's very interesting. Leo is the father, I guess. I don't know how to figure that. So anyway, we went through that. Then we went through two other places where bad things, houses of death. So one of the houses is the house of the 12th house, the house of Pisces. So he didn't call it the house of death. He calls it the house of hidden enemies. So he wanted to say, what is the enemy what is the main enemy of Pisces? It says the main enemy of Pisces is Aquarius. Now, he went through that and we saw that a little bit. And then there's another aspect, and that's called the aspect of the seventh house. So the seventh house of the chart of Adam Rishon, the first man, is called Libra. Okay, so that seventh house is going to have an enemy, which is going to be its opposite, which is going to be Aries. And he went through the different qualities of Libra. Excuse me, of yeah, here we are, Libra. And he went through the qualities of Aries, showing how the incompatibility that is how in fact these are open, what are called open enemies, also often husband and wife. So now we're going to a different stage, and so let's go over here now and let's see what he's going to talk about here. He says, so the number 12 deals with the secret enemy. So for the first house, and this is really how it goes. It looks like what he's going to say is like this. If you take your first house, the house right before it is going to be its enemy, its secret enemy. Now, he's going to explain that. He's going to go through all of the houses. So he says, so the number 12 deals with the secret enemy. So the first house, 12 houses away. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is actually the house right before it. I'm sorry that I didn't get this on the page exactly right. So he says that you're going to see that this is going to be the secret enemy. Now, how's this work? So he says, where the house soul wants to go to a spiritual level. So he said, let me see, 12 houses away, when Kronenberg gets you to the 12th house. The 12th house is right before your house, the house which is you. Where this is the place where the soul wants to go to a spiritual level, while the body, which is you, number one house, desires the physical pleasure. So he says that's what you can understand by counting by 12s. If you count by 12s, you get to the house which is your hidden enemy. On the one hand, the hidden enemy of what? The hidden enemy of the first house, which is you physically and prospering physically in this world. He says that the house right before, which is the house of Pisces, which is the transcendental, is that right? Transcendental, transcending sign that doesn't really want to be involved in this world. It says 11th house, the house of friends, is the secret enemy of the 12th house, that of the soul. What destroys your soul, so let's think about it this way. So it destroys your soul more than anything else is having bad friends who pull you away from your goal and values. So let me go back and see if I understood this right. He says the 11th house, which is this house right here, I guess you would go like this. So let's see where the 11th house is. So let me read what he says, and so I don't get too confused. 11th house, the house of friends. Okay, that's the house of friends, which is the house of Aquarius. Okay, here we are, Aquarius. This is the 11th house. So the 11th house of Aquarius, which is the house of friends, is a secret enemy of the 12th house. Now, why would that be? What destroys your soul, because the 12th house represents your soul. So you have to look at your chart, your particular chart. This is the chart of Adam Arishon that we're looking at. This is the first man's chart. So basically, this is the basic chart of charts. But on the other hand, you may have a rising sign in Aquarius or Capricorn or Sagittarius or any of these different places. Your 12th house will be something else, but he's gonna go through them now, and let's see how they work. So the 12th house represents your soul more than anything else, is having bad friends. So what can really hurt the soul will pull you away from your goals and values. So here's a person who wants to be dedicated to higher levels, and at the same time he has friends. His friends can destroy him. Although on the other hand, good friends may help the person maintain his soul. So he says the secret enemy of the friends. Now let's go to the 11th house. So the 11th house is Aquarius. This is the guy that really wants to have lots of friends. He says that is Capricorn. Why? What's the matter between Capricorn? They're both Saturnian planets. The ruling power between Aquarius is Saturn, and the same thing is true of Capricorn. So why should they be enemies? Is the Capricorn, which is the house of destiny of a person. That's his career. It's what makes him takes him away from his friends. Because if you're going to have a big career, you can't have friends. So if Aquarius wants to be friends with everybody, wants to be at a party all the time and having people to talk to and talking and being and living that life, or whatever his politics may be. This is the house of the destiny of a person. That's what so destiny, a person who's dedicated to what he has to do, doesn't have time for friends, which is the house of destiny of a person, his career, which takes him away from friends. I remember that as soon as we went off to college, now he's digressing a little bit. He says, let me see if I get this straight now. He says, all my high school friends lost touch with everybody else, and it took 40 years to reconnect a little bit with each other through the internet. But it's never really the same. You think you can reconnect, but you really can't. People's destinies and careers are what pull them apart. That's the secret enemy of the friendship. You see how it is that your career, that people who get involved in different things, is therefore that ruins the group. People become friends when they are close together and live in the same place. And as soon as something pulls them apart, the friendship can't hold. Now let's go. He's moving along. Now he says, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the 10th house. The 10th house is the house of Capricorn. The secret enemy of Capricorn is Sagittarius. Now, why would that be? So he said the secret enemy of Capricorn is Sagittarius, which is the 9th house. So it means the house preceding your house, the house of your ascendant, is going to be the enemy of that house, which is the religion, the philosophy, the travel, etc. Well, that's what Sagittarius. A Sagittarius is out there, traveler, easygoing, out there moving around. He says the philosopher and very religious. All these things take a person away from his career. So he says that the Jewish religion has so many commandments, like praying 3 times a day, study of the Torah, commentaries, mitzvahs, Shabbats, etc. And many religious Jewish people lost their jobs in America because they refused to work on Shabbat. So on a simple level, the secret enemy of the career is the religion. So the religion can tap down the effects of the career. So if you have to spend time with the religion, when are you going to work? On a more spiritual level, many people give up their careers for their freedom to discover new horizons through travel, etc. So many people will do that. You see that people are successful. People with a strong Sagittarian drive do that. Like a cousin of mine who was a great lawyer and gave it all, get all up to travel on boats. That was his real dream. Now, on a macro level, he said, looking at it in general, the 10th house is the government and the ninth house is religion. So these two don't go together. And it can become the secret enemy of secular governments. There are constant fights and disputes between religious and state authorities, especially in Israel, as to who makes the laws and who governs if the law is made by the government or by the religion. So you see that in America, where from the Declaration of Independence, they separated the church from the state. So he said, and more than anywhere in the world, you see it in Israel, where there's a tremendous battle between the government and religion, so as to who has the authority over the people. So he says the ninth house, which is the house of Sagittarius. So let's get back to Sagittarius here. We can see it a little bit. Let me see if I get it up there. Here it is. Sagittarius. Here it is, right here. His enemy is going to be Scorpio. So the ninth house is a secret enemy of the 10th. And then again, I got ahead of him. And again, I'm just giving you some basic interpretation. But everybody can use this method to interpret the house affairs according to his own understanding. As it says, there are 70 faces of the Torah. Now, what he's saying like this is that you have to have an understanding of the differences between these houses. So what I see that he's doing is he's really explaining in a simple way what's going on in each house and how it is that the house is related to the house that's next to it, either before it or behind it. So he says there are 70 faces of the Torah, which means that things can be understood in at least 70 different ways. So here I'm suggesting just two ways of understanding how the ninth house is a secret enemy of the 10th. Now, that's going to be a shear here right now. And now we're going to move on tomorrow, Metz Hashem, that we'll be able to see what's going on in the 8th house, Scorpio. What about his secret enemy? Or what about the ninth house, which is Sagittarius, and Scorpio is the secret enemy? This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Koel.